Welcome everyone to Black Hat. This is Security Weekly broadcasting live from the Black Hat Security Conference in very sunny and hot Las Vegas in the pool cabana. And I'm here with some special guests. Willy Leichter, did I get that right?
Yes.
Is here, and you're from Virsec?
Yes.
And Julian Zottl is from Raytheon.
Correct.
All right, so this is, how did you two guys meet? Was it like
well, our companies are partnering. Raytheon is one of the, we met today actually.
Raytheon met today,
yeah, Raytheon is a major defense and infrastructure contractor. We've been working with them for a couple of years, validating our technology. We're a security startup based out of Silicon Valley. We have some very unique technology, but Raytheon has been helping us test it, validate it, and deploy it.
Yeah, awesome. So we talk about this a lot, how we test and validate security solutions. So I guess, Willy, start with the problem that your product is trying to solve.
Yeah, so we're trying to solve kind of a cutting-edge problem of these advanced attacks that are finding ingenious ways around all of our defenses. We talk a lot about fileless attacks, memory-based attacks, but the whole area of memory protection is kind of fuzzy with a lot of people, a lot of companies. So we're front and center in that memory protection. We also are seeing this new kind of attack that essentially, people used to talk about the kill chain where you do reconnaissance, you weaponize something, you throw a bomb. What's happening now is these very subtle multiple paths are coming in, and the weaponization is happening in the application while it's running. So it's a very, we're on the front edge of a lot of these advanced attacks. It was considered kind of obscure until WannaCry and Petya and Indestroyer and all these new attacks came up in the last year.
And Julian, what's your role at Raytheon?
So I'm a cyber and information operations subject matter expert. I basically travel the world and helping customers solve their problems. I do a lot of architecture work, so if they have an issue, we'll come in, we'll design an architecture to help them alleviate that issue and hopefully protect them in the future.
So you're seeing the customers you're working with are experiencing a lot of these advanced attacks?
Incredibly, yeah. So I deal mostly with either foreign government or our U.S. government customers. And yeah, we're starting to see these attacks regularly.
Differentiate for me a standard attack versus an advanced attack.
Oh yeah, sure, no. So a lot of the standard attacks, the ransomware that you're seeing nowadays, they're getting in through emails. People are clicking on PDFs or something along those lines. The advanced attacks, much like Willy was talking about, we're starting to see deployments differ greatly. So they know that a lot of these places are putting in IPSs and things like that and watching their network traffic. So they're delivering piece parts. So one part might come in via a PDF and an email or something to that effect. Another might be through another vector. And essentially what they're doing is they're assembling pieces of a puzzle behind the scenes. So individually, these pieces, don't look like anything.
It all comes full circle, right? When we talked about network-based attacks, we talked about fragmentation attacks, and if I were to fragment my attack, the IDS wouldn't pick it up because it's not able to do the reassembly.
You got it.
We're kind of seeing the same thing today, except it's not all in the network. They're just delivering pieces of it to slip by defense.
And I think the battleground has moved to the applications themselves, particularly in runtime as opposed to being in transit or in disk.
Right.
It's, things are in runtime now indefinitely. We work with a lot of critical infrastructure companies, as well as Raytheon, where they have systems that really don't ever go offline or should never go offline.
Right.
So there's a lot of concern, and this has become the new battleground.
And so I want to get back to the pieces and parts.
Sure.
How do you detect that when the attackers are breaking up their kill chain, for lack of a better term, into such small pieces? First, how is that bypassing defenses? And then secondly, what do we do about it?
It's a very difficult problem, I'll be honest. The best thing you can do is try to identify those pieces before they start coming in. That doesn't often happen, I'll be honest. A lot of this stuff, you're not going to see Symantec detect, obviously, or not. Or any of the other antivirus guys, until it's fully assembled. Once they start seeing the assembled payload, that's when you start seeing the behaviors and where a lot of these like AV/EDR solutions can start seeing that kind of thing. Much to what Willy was saying, what we're seeing a lot of now is very targeted attacks. The perpetrator will know that there is a specific application running there. They will target that customized application with a customized payload. It's very difficult to pick these things up before they get, they get
Yeah,
that.
And so how does Virsec help with that?
Perfect segue. So we're unique in that we are not trying to stop the stuff coming in. A lot of people are doing that, but there's always ways in. We are actually looking at the application, particularly the memory usage in runtime, in real time. And I'll give you an example. If you have a compiled application, as it's loaded into runtime memory, all of the source and target destinations and memory blocks are assigned. They don't change, or they shouldn't change. So we have some patents around this. We create a map of where it's supposed to go to essentially guardrail the application. And if it goes somewhere else, a memory block that wasn't assigned, that's almost definitively a problem. So essentially we are watching as accurately, as closely at the application itself to ensure wherever possible that it does the right thing, as opposed to the endless threat chasing and chasing bad.
What percentage are you detecting with that particular patented technique?
It's always hard to measure percentages of unknown threats that you're capturing, because we capture 100% of the ones that we find.
Yes, you know about it, right? Yeah.
But not being facetious. What we focus on, though, is being very precise. So when we find something, we're very, very confident that it's a real attack.
Yeah.
And false positives,
because you're mapping the memory, and when it goes outside of that mapping.
Exactly. And false positives, undermine security as much as anything. If you drown out the signal with the noise, then all the security. It's like what happened with Target. So we are, we call it a deterministic process. So it's much more black and white as opposed to most probabilistic models where there's always some unknown guesswork.
Yeah, it sounds like you're not taking into account like 8 million different scenarios.
Right.
You're looking at just that one patented idea going, well, if the memory footprint it doesn't add up, then it's trying to do something malicious. And when we think about processes running in memory, you're right. Like when you exploit a process, you're forcing it to dip into another piece of memory that it normally doesn't.
Right, exactly. Now we also
and you guys have a patent on that? That's pretty cool.
We do, yes. Yeah. We have several patents on it. It's we've been developing the technology for a number of years, been working with Raytheon for about 3 years now, but we're just bringing it commercially to market. We also work at other levels with web attacks, with interpreted code, where you have more variables, but it's still the same basic idea that the programs are designed to follow, do what they're supposed to do.
Now, Julian, you can validate, obviously you're sitting here with Willy, right? But you can validate this is a valid solution. As security professionals, of course, we're always looking for validation.
Of course.
It sounds like this is working for you and your clients.
It is, and we're deploying it in very mission-critical areas.
Yeah.
Things that absolutely cannot go down or be hacked, for a better word, Now, nothing's 100%, but we're seeing very good success with their product.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Anything else you want to share with our listeners today?
I'd just say there's a new area. I think we've seen this a lot in security. Julian and I were talking where there seems to just be, you always have to keep going down a layer and a layer. And if we don't go deeper, we're not keeping up with the hackers. Talk a lot about nation states or well-funded hackers. A lot of these advanced attacks now have kind of become democratized. They're out there in volume now. So it's imperative to start finding ways to address this, because this is where the battlefield is.
And just to supplement that a little bit, I mean, we've gotten to the point where 0 days and such are commoditized. Companies like Zero will pay for you to develop a 0 day for these guys.
Sure.
So we're going to see more and more attacks that just are out of the league, so to speak, of traditional antiviruses and stuff like that.
Now, Julian, did you test a lot of different solutions for dealing with this problem your customers were having?
We have. In fact, we have a very good place that's public called the Code Center, which we do a test and evaluation of all these types of products. And we generally pick based on evaluations that center provides.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is that something publicly available? We can put like the notes for the show so listeners can find it? Or is it easy to remember URL?
Yeah, I believe you can. She can provide you the URL.
Okay, yeah. We can
Raytheon Code Center, CODE.
Okay.
We do a lot of testing for, obviously, government agencies and such like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We're in there as well. So
it's great. Yeah. Julian and Willy, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paul. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you for watching this interview from Las Vegas. If you want to watch and learn more, go to securityweekly.com/summercamp18 or go to our YouTube channel, Security Weekly, to view the playlist.